Here's a look at what made news this week in Jug Country. American warplanes continued pounding an al-Qaeda training camp near the Afghan-Pakistan border. The camp appeared to include 30 to 40 acres of underground facilities. U.S. Marines discovered a supply of weapons hidden in caves and tunnels near the Kandahar airport in Afghanistan. They found the weapons after spotting several intruders inside the airport security perimeter. They also found tunnel and cave openings under houses with mortar fuses, ammunition, and rocket-propelled grenades inside. A leading financier of the al-Qaeda terrorist network turned himself in at the Kandahar airport. News of his arrest came soon after American troops captured 7 more prisoners. A search of possible stockpiles of nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons inside Afghanistan so far turned up no evidence al-Qaeda actually has such weapons. But Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld did say that U.S. forces found evidence of al-Qaeda's desire for weapons of mass destruction. He says soldiers have found diagrams, materials, and reports that nuclear, biological, and chemical weaponry have been discussed. Pakistani President General Pervez Musharraf told a reporter he thinks Osama bin Laden has not been able to get treatment for his kidney disease and is most likely dead. Musharraf adds that the most recent photographs and video footage show bin Laden looking pale and weakened. However, some U.S. officials discount the reports of bin Laden's kidney disease, saying they are simply a recurrent rumor. U.S. air travelers were showing up earlier than usual at airports across the country. Friday was the first day of new federally sanctioned baggage security rules. Airlines and airports reported no significant problems. President Bush suffered a brief fainting spell at the White House. He reportedly choked on a pretzel, blacked out, and fell to the floor. Aside from some bruising and scrapes on his face, the president was said to be just fine. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency agreed to settle a lawsuit charging it neglected its duties to enforce clean air standards in the Central Valley. The agreement requires the EPA to accept or reject a 4-year-old cleanup plan to reduce soot and other tiny particles from the valley's notoriously polluted air. Tulare County supervisors approved a new agricultural commissioner, tapping Gary Kunkel to replace Leonard Kraft. Kraft retires the end of this month. Kunkel is a longtime employee of the Ag Commissioner's office and served as the county's number 2 ag official. Fire did $60,000 damage to a Tulare apartment complex. One unit at Casa del Rey Apartments on Prosperity Avenue was destroyed. 4 others suffered smoke and water damage. No injuries were reported. Cause of the fire is under investigation. Meanwhile, investigators called a blaze at Tulare County's Government Plaza building suspicious. Flames caused about $25,000 damage. No injuries there either. Most of the damage was confined to the one room where the blaze started. State education officials released data based on last year's academic performance index. Schools that have failed to show enough improvement face penalties that could include removal of teachers and principals, a state takeover, or even closure. 11 schools in Tulare County and 5 in Kings County failed to show sufficient improvement and have been chosen for the Immediate Intervention Underperforming Schools program. Pilots from Lemoore Naval Air Station returned from duty in Afghanistan. They said hello to Hanford and Lemoore by briefly buzzing the area. Squadrons had been on tour since July. They were on the USS Carl Vinson and heavily involved in bombing missions in Afghanistan. And the Tulare County Fair's Board of Directors has announced that interim CEO Phyllis Harmon is out of a job. Harmon's contract was not renewed after it expired a few weeks ago. The fair's directors reportedly had questions about her performance. They expect to hire a new CEO by the beginning of March. And that is a look at what made news this week in Jug Country. I'm Diana Stein.